Hi everybody, Radical Gardener, and this is Little B, and we've had to remake the video we tried to make yesterday. It's real glitchy, and it happens sometimes when I try and load things up. I try not to take it personally. It's not like YouTube, doesn't like me. What? What? Am I getting kisses? Well, I wanted to start this YouTube video. He's the lickiest dog. This YouTube video talking about C60 and my pets. Yeah? Okay. And me. But anyways, this is Little B, and you hear me talking about him. And he's just my heart. He's my love. He was a rescue when he was about 6 months old. I went in for cat food and walked out with him. Before this, I always had big dogs and small dogs. I'm going to tell you, it's just like you have a baby. They're not kidding. But anyways, he's a great dog. He's a lot of fun. But he's old. He's 13. Not real old for a small dog, but he's older. And he was getting cataracts, and they were really bad. All the animals are waiting for their C60. I wanted to show you that. But I started out with drops in his eyes about 6 months ago. And I had taken him to the vet, and the vet says he's going to have surgery. And I thought, no way. As soon as somebody tells me I've got to have a shot, take medicine, surgery, I come up with 1,000 alternatives to it. So that's what I did with B, and started giving him C60. And the way I did is I put a drop in each eye, and then after a while, I just started giving it to him orally, and he really, really likes it. But I want to show you his eyes because they're completely clear. Now, it was really cool. It's along with the cataracts. This part isn't cool, but the next part I tell you is, he's got these black, almost look like moles around his eyes. So I don't know if that was the C60, that was just, his eyes were detoxing. I really can't tell you. But as of yesterday, the last of them fell off. And he would wake up and he'd have like kind of this black little crusty thing that had been on his eye, and I would just pick it off. So very much like when the moles I would peel off, or skin tags, all that stuff that I had while I was, while I'm taking C60s. But look at his eyes. Go ahead, B. B, look in the camera. Can you believe that, you guys? Look how clear. So, how pleased am I? And I just give him tiny bit. It's 1 drop per 5 pounds. So he's a 10-pound dog. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. I've got a bottle that's kind of empty here. Here we go. You ready? He really likes it. It doesn't taste like anything. So it's really interesting to me because the cats go crazy over it, and it doesn't taste like anything. So I think it's a real energetic thing. I really do. You all done? Can I put you down? Huh? Okay. All right, so let's see if I can get the cats here. Come on, Steve. Come on, Cheese. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on. Okay, come on, Cheesy. So, the only time they don't come is if they're napping, but they really want this. I'm going to turn this around, so, well, maybe I don't have to. Let me do this. Yeah, I do. I got to do that. All right, Cheesy. Cheese. Come here. Come on. Hold on. Oh, here comes the baby. So, come here. Oh, that's Kitten Kitten. Kitten Kitten's the only one that doesn't like it. And Kitten Kitten is just a strange cat. Stevie! Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Anyways, he may not come. But he's the one that's a crack up. And he was the sickest. Let me turn this around. That's Kitten Kitten. Yeah, Kitten Kitten, Kitten Kitten, you can't put a collar. He was feral. He's feral. And there's just some things he won't put up with. But he's the only one that doesn't want it. And he's a really healthy cat. Maybe he just senses he doesn't need it. I don't know. But anyways, so the kitten, I think a lot of you remember when I found a tiny little baby kitten, Steve, and he was in a field. We think he's from the same feral family as Kitten Kitten because they look exactly alike. And he's really sick. I mean, it's just tiny. He just was ravenous. His gums were infected. I took him to the holistic vet. There wasn't much they could do. Then I found this incredible vet. I went to him. And there were things he was telling me to do it. And I just knew these aren't really going to work. So I started giving him C60. And he's so tiny, I just gave him one drop. And then I would go and, I'd take C60 sometimes and I'd rub it on his gums and what have you. Well, that kitten is the most alive, alert, sweet-natured cat I've ever had. And he never really became full size, but he's really healthy and really alert and really bright. And I gave it to him. I have a cat that had bladder issues and hasn't had any, and that's Macaroni, and he's been on C60. So it's just been really wonderful for the animals. Highly recommend it. Of course, I will only use Bob Greska's because there is no solvent on it, any toxic solvent. But really, it's the only one that's FDA approved. It's not an industrial solvent. It's to be ingested. It's safe to ingest it. So I feel really good about giving it to my animals. And it's not expensive. I mean, the animals need so little. We're talking about drops. So a bottle for them can last me maybe like 2 months. It's worth it. It means I don't have vet bills, and it just really works for them. The other thing I used C60 for this year is I had some dying tomato plants. And I just had done a whole bunch of things wrong. I mean, things I know better. It's sometimes at the tail end of when I'm planting, I just get lazy and I do things and I go, I shouldn't be doing it like this. But, I put some C60 at the root of the plants and, down at the bottom of the stem. And I think it was just tomato plants that I did. And the ones that were dying, I was sure wasn't going to get any tomatoes, and every one of them came back enough for me to harvest tomatoes. Not a lot, but it brought a plant, to the point where it's healthy enough where it could produce. So that was interesting. Now, Bob Gate had given me some C60 to try for plants. So it's way thicker. It does feel more like it has a feel more like an industrial, grade, but it's still pure. There's nothing toxic in it. It just had a very thick feel to it, and it felt oilier, So I'm not quite sure what the difference was, but it had a different texture. You could always ask Bob. He's always so available to talk to you about things. So then what's going on with me health-wise? Well, as you can see, my skin's constantly looking better. My hair is just looks so healthy. I have no wrinkles. I don't know what to say. I keep looking. I started to get a few here and then they went away. Hell no. But what's really interesting now is my skin's going through another shedding, but in a really different way. And I don't know if you can see this. So you can see I don't wear sunscreen. So I had sun damage from before. So this is like my tan's going away, and now it's like revealing some of the sun damage and stuff, and all of them you can feel it, and I can peel them off, and I'll get like a little tiny scab and then it's gone. So these are just about ready to peel off, and you can see here where it's all completely clear. So at some point I'm just gonna brush my body down, all of my skin, and just get some of this dead skin off. But gosh, I mean, this hand's looking great, and you can just see this is more of a beauty mark. I've had this a long time, but yeah, you can see. Now some are freckles. I had freckles, but there's some. And remember, I'm almost 70, so the fact I don't really have like age spots on my hands is pretty good. I mean, I'm real happy about it. Also, too, I want to talk about another part of the C60. This came up, it was one of the gals, was it Lisa? I think it was Lisa on the C60 forum. I'm on the anti-aging C60 forum on Facebook. And she had asked the question, do you feel more connected to the earth since you've been taking C60. So I thought about it for a few minutes, actually longer than that, and realized that I've always wanted to be close to nature. I mean, I always do. But this year, it was pathological. I just had to be outside all the time. I just had to be. And I mean, I love outside, but not like that. And that's what happened to me in September, you guys. I had this overwhelming need to get out of here and be somewhere where I can be fully in the elements. I talked about this a little bit before, but I hadn't made the C60 connection. I have to feel the wind, come, and the breeze coming off the ocean, and the water, and the salt, and the sand, and the earth, the sun, and all the time. And I just can't do that here. I'm not a snow skier. There's nothing to do in the winter for me. I mean, I couldn't put up a greenhouse. That's the way I was going to bide my time through the winter. And I can't do it because of the code of the city. And beside that, you know what? After all that hassle, I was like, hell with it. Just hell with it. So, I'm sure that's the C60. Once that question was asked, I thought, oh my gosh, that's what it was. That's why I have this overwhelming need to be somewhere where I am fully in nature. I mean, it's either that or a mountain somewhere or in the forest, and none of that makes sense for the age I am and for what I want to do and, for getting around. I mean, when you get older, you're thinking about things like, well, if there's ice, I might fall, I might break a hip. I mean, I have to think about those things, right? They're not that far off. And same with my husband. He's got some stenosis of the spine. I have fallen downstairs twice, and that's when I, wasn't old. This is like, 5 years ago, and then 10 years ago, I fell down the stairs. So I'm moving into a place where there are no stairs. I just have to be in nature, and I have to feel the sun. I've got to feel the sun. And the sun is going to be dimmer, cooler, not as strong, in its minimum, whatever the words are for it. And I need to be where I can get the most from the sun. And so, it's got to be the C60. It's carbon. It is the earth. I feel like I'm a part of the earth. It's part of what's healing me is that I'm ingesting carbon. It's an accelerated piece of who I am. This is very difficult to talk about and to put into words, but I'd be able to write about it. I don't know, it's been really good for me. Not everybody's going to have this relationship with it or resonate with it like I do, but boy, it's been a key thing for me, and it's given me the energy to do these things when I think of them, and the clarity of mind to really be organized and to follow it through. Well, anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I always forget to tell you lots of stuff about the C60 because it's done so much for me, but this is just an update. I'm going to break this up in several different videos. So anyways, this is to replace the one from yesterday. Let's hope this one loads up. Okay, you guys, Radical Gardener, from my garden to yours. May your garden always grow, and I'm sending you a ton of love. Okay? All right.